I started 2026 with a simple plan: live more days worth repeating. Well, in the words of heavyweight champ Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth. The past couple of episodes, I've been talking about the busy season towards the end of 2025 that I was going through. I knew I was running the engine really hot. And when work piles up, I try to finish things all at once so I can finally relax. That's just how I'm wired. In this weird effort to get to days worth repeating, I end up stringing together a lot of days not worth repeating. It's dumb logic when I hear it spelled out like that, but I am pretty sure I'm not the only person who does this. Now, if you ever push through a brutal season like back to back trips, no real breaks, you're somehow holding it all together, you know what happens next. You get home, you walk into your house, your body crashes, you're sick for days. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened to me. But instead of like a week or two of travel, it was like 4 months of crazy, busy stuff. And so after I got out of the hospital, I got sick for 2.5 more weeks. So all of January, I was pretty much out of it. Now, I have been around a lot of hard charging, high achieving creative people. Here's one thing I know to be true: you default to being the engine rather than the architect. And you are too smart for me to tell you that you should delegate things. And you've heard this a million times already. Yawn, big deal. So, a reframe I would offer today, especially in light of what I've gone through the last several weeks, is simply this: are you living the kind of days that are worth repeating? Last week, as I was finally starting to feel a little better, I drove up to Boston for a 2-day private event with one of the leading voices in my life about AI. It was a smaller event. It was awesome. Now, I am just as tired of the AI noise as everyone else, but it's an important topic to discuss. And one of the things we talked about at that event, which I loved, was about how each of us will individually choose to live in a post AI world and what that will all look like. Now, no one knows for sure, but my RAS filter clicked on my reticular activating system. I immediately started to see things in my everyday life that I wasn't picking up on before. And one very obvious thing is this: a new vernacular is coming into the mainstream, new verbiage, new wording. I was scrolling through YouTube on my TV just the other day after this event. I was just like laughed at what the algorithm fed me. I saw a music video and the headline read this: human, no AI, lo fi music in a real poppy field, dreamy drawing session with our pup. And the video is a young couple sitting in a field. The guy's playing guitar while his girlfriend draws in her sketchbook and their dog rolls around chomping on treats. And the description of the video read: support human made music, help us grow and be an alternative to the never ending AI slop. Now, the video ran for over an hour. I let it run. And at the end, there was another note from the creators that said, "Thank you so much for being here and supporting us. Your love and energy keep us going and help us create a human alternative in a world overflowing with AI music. If you enjoy what we do, leave a comment, drop a like, share this video. And if you'd like to support us, not just with words, but with action, check out the links down below." Do you see what's happening? Do you understand what's happening? Human made, quote unquote, human made is going to be a label, just like a blue check mark on Instagram from a couple of years ago, or the USDA slapping their label on a packet of beef at the grocery store. This is not a small thing. Artists are rebelling against AI slop, and I love that. The human race is at a crossroads, and it's crazy that I'm even using that phrase, the human race. I cannot remember the last time I've ever felt the need to use those words, maybe a term paper in college or something. But here we are already trying to differentiate the human race, our species, from AI in our everyday vernacular. A YouTube video about music. We are finding and feeling the need to mark what is real. Now, for a lot of people, AI has become the Ozempic of thinking. It's like a quick fat loss pill, right? Just over the weekend, I was at dinner with my old bosses. I've known them for 25 years. I've been to their son's wedding. I'll be at their daughter's wedding later this year. They had a big party to celebrate the grand opening of their newest location. And we ate, we drank, we laughed deep into the night. At dinner, their kids, by kids, I mean people in their early 30s, were saying how some of their friends make nearly all of their decisions, even really small ones, through ChatGPT, like what to eat that night, what to wear, everything. They use it like Ozempic, but for their brain. Now, your brain might not get smaller, but it's surely going to get smoother if you keep doing this, right? Now, I'm a young Gen Xer, and this has made me think. Here we are again in the middle of all this technological change. Just for context, whether you're older than me or younger than me, this is crazy, but I didn't send my first email until my freshman year in college. I grew up when I was really little. My grandmother had rotary phones. I remember speed dial. I remember cordless phones were like amazing. Then they made the brick size cell phones, and now people are talking to their AI Oracle on a mini computer in their pocket. Crazy. Like a lot has changed in my lifetime. My peer group, young Gen Xers and older millennials, we have lived in between some major bridges in tech history. Don't get me wrong, I use technology a lot, but I actually think it's part of my generation's duty to blow the trumpet for the rest of humanity and be like, yo, retain your humanness, retain your humanity, choose what is worth keeping of your existence. You got to guardrail your brain. Over the last 2.5 years since ChatGPT came out, my consumption of physical books has gone through the roof. This was not intentional. I didn't sit down one day and be like, I'm going to be one of these like super optimizer bro people and like optimize everything. It was just something I noticed. It was something subconscious. Now I try to avoid reading anything on my Kindle or an iPhone if possible, right? I always try to get the physical book. And like I did with social media years ago, I started to delete AI apps from my phone on weekends so I can actually unplug like Claude, ChatGPT. I uninstall them on my phone every weekend. I'm trying to put guardrails around this thing called the brain. Now, I know that sometimes we just throw that word out there, but I really had to remember the brain is a physical organ in my head that I carry around that is pretty much essential to my existence and how I experience life. Maybe I should protect it. So, my personal take is this: AI should make me smarter, not just by taking monotonous things off my plate, but in helping me process what I'm learning. It should free me to be able to spend more time on real human activities with the time that it saves. This includes making that thing, my brain, stronger. And one of the things that helps me, marking things up with a pen, real writing, sitting with ideas long enough so that they can change the shape of my mind and change in my hands as I'm wrestling with those ideas. I've been reading memoirs, especially memoirs written before AI came into the mainstream, just in case, because I want to make sure that they weren't AI created. I've been pushing my closest clients really hard about publishing books before everyone assumes you just used AI to crank it out. I've been pushing them, use your voice so you don't lose it. Understand that the most important thing that you can say is the thing that only you can say. Sharpen your ability to think clearly, to speak with conviction, to opine, to make a case, to defend an argument, take a stance, to read better books, and thus write better books. This is what we should be spending our time on. These are activities worth repeating that make your days worth repeating. You know, I advise a lot of coaches and speakers by virtue of what I do. And I have kept things really simple for the 10 plus years that I've run my business. And my business has done really well over a long period of time. I write things that I would want to read. I consume things created through deeper craftsmanship. And then I try to do likewise. I haven't always been good with it, but I've returned to it now over the last year. And it has been so worth it. I've always tried to create programs and make offers and provide experiences that I myself would want to buy from another person. And then I just continually try to improve those things. So this is for me personally. If I saw somebody offering marketing their services and I could tell everything that they made was put out by I probably wouldn't work with them. And the honest question is to ask you if you would do the same. Now, would you buy an online course created completely by someone's AI avatar? Your answer, whether it's yes or no, should guide you. Now, seriously, there is no right or wrong answer. I have clients who do, and I have clients who don't, and I have a lot who are somewhere in the middle. The bottom line is you'll probably attract people who answer the same way as you. So just do whatever that is accordingly, right? Just follow that strategy that you would want. Do that for your clients. It's the easiest way to look at everything. Now, when we talk about days worth repeating, while I've been recently dancing around all these health challenges last month, I made a habit of going to museums in New York City on Sundays. I live in New Jersey, just across the bridge. I go by myself. It's okay. I admit it. And I am not an artsy cultural person. Museums and galleries have always made me sleepy. But right now, I have this like insatiable pull to see and stand in the presence of physical art and real architecture. Just like stand in these spaces to marvel at the things that human beings are capable of creating. Now, these are names I know are supposed to be famous. I couldn't pick them out of, I could pick out their work if you had a gun to my head. But in these museum trips, I saw some stuff by a guy named Renoir. I'm like, I've heard of that guy. And then some guy named Monet. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard of Monet. And of course, the natural inclination was to like whip out my phone, go to Chat GPT and ask it about these artists. But it was a weekend, so I didn't have my app on my phone. Right. So I actually just read the captions that the museum curators, people who went to college and grad school to learn this stuff, carefully wrote for newbies like me walking through the museum. And I would read all this stuff. It's fascinating. Monet, that dude was crazy. His first wife, Camille, appeared in over 30 of his paintings. Then she died young from cancer. He painted her on her deathbed. I don't know if that's art or creepy or both. He then later married a lady named Alice, who he'd been having an affair with while she was married to somebody else. And after Alice died, he had a connection with her daughter, Blanche, who had also been married to Monet's son. I found this utterly fascinating, and this definitely would not have landed this way as hard as it did if I had not gone there in person. I remember writing that night in my 5-minute journal. This was a day worth repeating. I'm going to do more of these museum trips. So I hope that you will spend a little bit of time, again, not just to be the engine, but to be the architect of your life, to architect what a day worth repeating looks like. If you're using AI, it should free up more time for you to become more human and to architect a life with this technology in it, however you choose to use it. That is the very human thing to do. Now, speaking of days worth repeating, one pattern I've seen over the past decade in my work is people have been trying to figure out their business longer than they need to. That is a day that I do not want people repeating. I mentioned this on the previous episode, previous issue, if you're watching all my stuff in sequence. But I recently put together this assessment. It's a 30-question assessment where it gives you a 39-page custom report, not AI generated. I wrote everything based on the scores that you have. It's called the Idea to IP Score Assessment. And this is all about helping you diagnose your thought leadership business, your expert based business across 8 categories to show you where you're strong, where there are opportunities to improve. You get a detailed report that also includes 3 to 5 action steps for each category. So it's really, really specific. A lot of people have already taken this. They've said this is awesome. And there's a special limited time offer right now until the end of the month that if you would like to talk with me through your results, with me, not one of my coaches or anybody else, but with me, there's an option to upgrade there. It's a great offer. And then I'll offer 6 months of ongoing support. So check all that out. The link is here in the YouTube description. If you're listening on the podcast, it's right there in the show notes. And of course, if you're getting this through email, through the newsletter, the links are all in there. All right. So take that idea to IP assessment. You might discover you're more on track than you think, or you might realize you've been focused on the wrong things. Either way, it will help you give clarity so you get ever closer to living days that are worth repeating. If you like this video, it would mean a lot to me. If you like it, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, it would mean a ton. If you would subscribe, it helps get word out about what I do. And I will see you back here on the next video.